Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is now 5:30, and I will call this regular meeting of the Burnsville City Council to order. It is our tradition to stand for a moment of silence, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and we invite you to join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have announcements for all of our upcoming meetings. Regular council meetings are scheduled for Monday, August 6th at 5:30 p.m. Now, the reason why we're having our meeting on Monday rather than Tuesday is because Tuesday is our night to unite in Burnsville, and I hope that you all have parties going on to get to know your neighbors. And then we also have a council meeting scheduled for Tuesday, August 21st. We have a work session scheduled for Tuesday, August 21st at 6 p.m., and this is moved because of the primary. We can't convene when there is an election, so that's why that's done in at 6 p.m. On Tuesday, August 21st. And then we have a special EDA, that's the Economic Development Authority and the Economic Development Commission joint session. That's Wednesday, July 18th at 6:30 p.m. and Wednesday, July 25th at 6:30 p.m. And then that meeting is going to be in the small community room, but all other meetings are held right here in the council chambers. The next item is citizens' comments. This is an opportunity for anyone in the audience who wishes to address the council on an item that is not on the printed agenda and not an application form that will be coming before us at a future date. Is there anyone who wishes to address the council? Anyone who wishes to address the council? Seeing no one, we will move on to additions to the final agenda, and this is for emergency items only. Ms. Hardy, are there any emergency items?
None from staff, Madam Mayor.
Members of the council, any emergency items? Okay.
No.
Thank you. We then move on to the consent agenda. The consent agenda is a group of items that's considered to be routine and will be enacted by one motion. However, an item can be removed from the consent agenda for a separate discussion and vote. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes an item to be removed from the consent agenda for a separate discussion and vote? Ms. Gill.
Item 4P, the preliminary and final plat for Valley Ridge Heights Edition, please.
Thank you. I had that on my list. Thank you, Ms. Gill. Ms. Hardy?
None from staff, Madam Mayor.
Okay. Members of the council? I'm going to pull P because S, because P and S are related. So I'm going to pull S so that we can have that discussion together, because that will have some concerns. Will help the residents of the senior housing with their concerns. Okay. May I have a motion to adopt the balance of the consent agenda, please?
Move to approve.
Councilmember Gustafson
Second.
makes the motion, second by Councilmember Keeley. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay, and the motion carries. Ms. Gill, you asked that if you'd like to come over here. This is to approve the application for Dakota County CDA for a preliminary and final plat of Valley Ridge Heights Edition located at 1945 136th Street West, and to approve the preliminary and final plat. Ms. Gill.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and members of the City Council. My name is Carrie Gill, and I'm representing the Dakota County CDA. And we appreciate the opportunity to be here this evening regarding the preliminary and final plat for the Valley Ridge Heights Edition. We also appreciate the assistance we've received from city staff as we have worked through the planning process for this plat and the quick trip application, especially from Ms. Dean. As you know, the Planning Commission made a recommendation to approve the preliminary and final plat at their meeting last Monday. We appreciate that recommendation, but have a concern with one of the conditions that is included in the approval. A memo from the CD regarding our concerns was included in your packet for this item. In the memo, I did reference item condition 4, but it actually was condition 5 in the staff report. I hadn't seen the staff report when I wrote the memo. We would just like to have the City Council reconsider the requirement for the new access road to connect to the existing driveway on the Valley Ridge Senior Housing property. Many of the residents have expressed concern about cars cutting through their parking lot, which is a safety concern for the residents living at the Valley Ridge Senior Housing. When the Valley Ridge Shopping Center was demolished and the property platted in 2011, the city was interested in seeing mixed use on the remaining vacant parcel. At the time, connecting the two properties made sense depending on the type of the development that was, eventually would develop there and was envisioned at the time. Given the current proposal, the CDA would request that the road connection not be made at this time. If the city does not want to completely eliminate the option for the future, we'd prefer to provide an easement so that a road connection could be made in the future if deemed necessary, depending on what is developed on the remaining vacant parcel. The other condition was regarding the entrance into Quick Trip. There was a requirement that it be staggered, and this might get addressed in the next item, but Quick Trip has informed us that due to turning movements, it would be problematic for them to move their driveway location. And so that's the request. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I don't think at this point, Ms. Gill, I think we really understand what you have asked for and also what the residents of the senior housing is also requesting. And when I reviewed the background material, I see that our staff had already stubbed it, so there isn't a connection. And that it does reflect your desire for the future. And I'm going to ask Ms. Dean to come forward and speak to that item, because I believe that that's done when I look at the plans. Any other questions from members of the council? No. Okay, so Ms. Dean, if you can just make sure that the residents and everybody else can see that in terms of that traffic pattern, that it is stubbed, it's not going to have that entrance from the senior housing development into the Quick Trip. Okay.
Good evening, Mayor, members of the council. So currently, according to the plan, as you can see on the right-hand side of your slide, the driveway currently does not connect. On the aerial photo to the left, you can see that the driveway ends at the senior housing site with a 2010 condition stating that the lot shall be connected. At this time, Planning Commission, their recommendation was to move the driveway for Quick Trip to the south so that the driveways would be connected yet staggered. From a staff standpoint, we do see that as problematic because there could be issues with turning movements, with sight lines. It's not best practices to have that offset. Traditionally, you see similar, like a four-way stop. That would be the city's preference if they were to connect, that they line up. As you've heard from the CDA, there are concerns from their standpoint to make the connection today, but it sounds like they're willing to work with the future property owners and the city regarding the connection. As far as Quick Trip, as you saw in your report, we have heard from them as well, stating that staggering the driveway, moving the driveway on their property to the south could be problematic for turning movements, as Ms. Gill stated as well. Certainly, if there's any questions, I can certainly answer them. I do want to highlight, as far as the conditions, number 4, if you wanted to change the findings and change the recommendation, we can certainly work with that language to accommodate that.
Members of the council, I think if we stub it and leave it to the future development with regard to that connection, and then go back to what Quick Trip wants and don't do the offsets, because there won't be a connection to the senior housing. Mr. Peterson, as the Public Works Director, you concur?
Yes, what best practices in traffic management is to not have an offset stagger. It just leads, if both people are making a left turn, no
Yeah.
one knows who to go when.
Yeah.
So I would say either make it go through and now and hook it up, or B, don't have it, have them line up. So they both can function independently. If they don't,
Yeah.
the senior housing has functioned this long without a connection. So.
There won't be I think right now, let's not have that connection. I think that's the desire of the CDA. They're the property owner, and they also own the senior housing. So they desire not to have that connection, and we'll leave it to future development, and we'll deal with it at that time. Members of the council, are you all right with that? Okay, so, Ms. Dean, let's make sure that we correct the findings and the conditions to return to what Quick Trip wants, and then also to reflect that there is no access between the senior housing and Quick Trip.
Can I make one clarification?
Yes.
Are you still comfortable with the pedestrian connection that's proposed to occur?
It appears to me that the pedestrian connection is on 136.
Mayor, there's a proposed connection that would run east-west between the driveway
Oh,
and
on
Quick
the
Trip.
driveway, okay, because I saw the connection up on top.
And if I can clarify, the site plan for Quick Trip better clarifies that.
Okay.
On the next action item.
Okay,
But the change can be made on the preliminary plat,
yes.
if you so wish.
I believe that the residents are nodding at me. They do want that pedestrian so they can walk right over to Quick Trip if they wish to make some purchases. No cars, just walking. Okay?
Cars can go out and around.
Yeah, cars, you'll have to get in your car and go out and around, come in on 136 if you don't want to walk. But if you want to walk, okay? All right. Ms. Faulkner.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, Public Works Director Peterson and I are just talking over here. So what we're going to do is save the decision for a connection when the rest of Outlet
Yeah.
8 develops.
Yes.
Otherwise, if we either do that or we propose some trees or barriers at the end of that turnoff. So we can delay a decision or we can cut that opportunity for a connection at a later date.
I think CDA is asking us
The
to wait
delay.
to delay.
Okay.
So they'll see how all of that works out
Correct.
in the future.
Okay, great.
So let's make sure that they're the property owners. Let's just do what they're asking us to do.
We'll just need some kind of signage at the end there, so people
Yeah.
don't drive right through,
Yeah,
so,
and we've done that before. I remember back
Yeah.
then. We'll just say, no access.
okay. We'll just ensure
Yeah.
the construction plan shows
Yeah.
some kind of
Yeah.
signage to stop it.
Yeah.
Okay,
We'll have some
type 3 barricades there.
barricades or something, yeah. Yeah, we've done it before in some areas where there's no access. So it'll be fine. There are no cars that's going to go through there. Yeah. So we need to make sure that the findings of fact are corrected and the conditions are corrected. Okay. So, Ms. Gill, we've met your requests.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. I'm going to ask then members of the council to adopt the new, and that is item number 5 on the condition.
I have it as item number 4.
Yeah, that's what I have too. So it's item number 4. So you'll make that amendment. So members of the council, I need a motion to adopt the final plat and for Dakota County CDA for Valley Ridge Heights addition with the condition amended for 4.
I'll make the motion with the changes in item 4.
Okay. There's a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, say aye. And the motion carries. Okay. Now, we go to S, and we'll fix the staggered churning back to what Quick Trip wants. Ms.
so-
Dean.
Mayor, the condition was specific to the Valley Ridge Heights plat. No condition was reflected within the Quick Trip. So if you're comfortable with the proposal before you and wish to take action, I would recommend doing that at this time.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Because the Planning Commission recommended with the staggering turns, is that going to be reflected in the findings?
The only change was to the CDA properties application. The Planning Commission recommended approval of the Quick Trip project, 5-0, no changes.
Okay, yeah. It's what was confusing, and that's why my email too, because it just seemed like there was a lot of, things were
There's a
being
lot of
asked.
crossover.
Crossover, but this fixed all of it. This fixed it for Quick Trip, and this fixes it for the residents and for the CDA.
The action that you just took on the
Yes.
CDA would, yes.
Okay, so I'd like a motion to adopt the item S, please.
Motion to approve.
Councilmember Gustafson makes a motion, second by Councilmember Keely. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, and a motion carries. Thank you very much. You okay? Yes. Everybody's okay? Thank you. All right. Have a great evening. Okay. Yeah, yeah. You're welcome. Okay, members of the council, there are no regular items, and a motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
Second?
Councilmember Keely makes a motion, second by Councilmember Schultz. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say nay, and a motion carries. Okay.